Greenwashing documentary by Mauro Peña. Greenwashing documentary. Greenwashing is a process of conveying a false impression or misleading information about how a company's products impact the environment. Greenwashing involves making unsubstantiated claims to misleading consumers into believing that a company's products are environmentally friendly or have a greater positive environmental impact than they actually do. Why is it relevant to deal with this issue? Because greenwashing can make consumers buy these products believing that they do not have a negative impact on their environment. This makes companies have more purchases thanks to this advertising that is false information, since they are lying about the true impact of the product and everything behind it. This to me can be seen as an unethical practice, since they are giving misleading information just to have more sales or greater recognition. In this video documentary, I am going to talk about Ryanair, an Irish low-cost airline headquartered in Dublin. It is one of Europe's largest and most well-known budget airlines. This campaign was made by Ryanair in 2019. The objective of this campaign is to publicize that they are the company with the least carbon emissions. They have always been one of the companies with the lowest prices, but in this ad they try to give another value proposition, which is that they are also the company that produces the least carbon emissions. This campaign is aimed at people who travel by plane, knowing that airline companies are the ones that pollute the most with carbon emissions. What Ryanair seeks is that people who seek to pollute less, which is the majority of us, look for a better option. In this case, their company. This campaign involves all competitors by saying that they pollute less than them. For the campaign, they made this ad where they say what I mentioned before.
Fly Ryanair, Europe's low fares, low CO2 emissions airline from just $14.99. Book Ryanair today.
They also made different posters containing the same information from that. But why is it greenwashing? This campaign is greenwashing because it is not mentioned how it is calculated that they have the lowest emissions. It is not mentioned if it is because they have fewer or shorter flights. That's why it is difficult to take this information as true. Although this is one company that emits the least, it continues to contribute to pollution. And with this campaign, consumers can think that by choosing Ryanair, the problem is solved. Also, being low cost and with this claim that they emit less carbon, more people may start taking planes since they will not only contribute to the environment, but also because it's cheap. And what they are doing is only increasing the number of flights and causes even more pollution. The implications of this campaign linked to the SDGs are that they say that they are committed to cutting their carbon emissions 10% by 2030 and further to 40%. This is linked to the Objective 13 climate action. But as I mentioned before, there is no more information about what is the plan for this to reduce the emissions. By making greenwashing, they limit the reach of this campaign, as the Advertising Standards Agency (ASA) ruled that the low-cost airline breached the rules on environmental claims and misled consumers, which is why the commercial was banned. We can see here that the different news that appear about this ad banned in different countries. This campaign falls under promotional speech. It aims to persuade potential customers to choose Ryanair by emphasizing benefits Ryanair's intention is to increase ridership by appealing both price sensitivity and environmental concern. The campaign uses different arguments and fallacies. One of them is appeal to emotion by associating the idea of lower emissions with the emotional appeal of environmental responsibility. The slogan attempts to influence customers based on their concerns for the planet. Another very common fallacy in all the companies that practice greenwashing is appeal to ignorance. In this case, the slogan might exploit consumers' lack of knowledge about airline emissions and sustainability practice, assuming that they won't question the validity of the claim. But is the message constructed from a threatening perspective? No, Ryanair's message is not constructed from a threatening perspective. This is presented as a competitive advantage rather than using threats or intimidation tactics to influence consumer behavior. But why their proposed action is false? As mentioned above, the message Ryanair gave in this campaign was claimed to be misleading due to a lack of proper substantiation. Ryanair argued that they had the lowest carbon emissions per passenger per kilometer flown due to its younger fleet and more efficient engines, which the Advertising Standard Authority noted that some data presented by Ryanair was from 2011 and was not enough to support the comparison made in the year of the campaign 2019. Also, the seating density on the planes was not taken into account, which is relevant information due to understanding the basis of the claim. Now, in this video documentary, we are going to talk about the reaction of the campaign in social media. Different people, when the campaign had its impact, showed their annoyance using different hashtags such as greenwashing, when they saw Ryanair's advertising. People knew that the information Ryanair presented was not enough to justify its low emissions. There was even more recent case that Ryanair mentioned being enviro-friendly, and it also made people angry. Most of these people only complain on social networks, so it could be considered slacktivism. Only one person showed their disagreement at Green Quick. The only good thing about these complaints is that the campaign was banned, but it was made by the Advertising Standard Authority, as I already mentioned. Here is the tweet referring to when this happened. The elements of the campaign that should be included if what is saw is an effective action is to provide clear information on what they are called the company with the least emissions. With during comparisons and the necessary information, they should also seek for verification for environmental organizations so that what they mention has credibility. What the campaign should have done is to mention what plans they have to reduce these emissions, since the aircraft industry is one of the most polluting ones. They should have mentioned a detailed plan, not just the money that they have or plan to invest. The main actors that must be involved are citizens, demanding that a detailed plan must be demonstrated on how they intend to reduce this problem and making informed decisions. The companies from the industry should also be related to seeing how they can also contribute to climate action. Authorities also, as they have already done, they must confirm that all the information mentioned in these marketing campaigns or ads is true, and also place restrictions or obligations on company to manage this problem. To invite society to participate in this proposal using ethos, it could be mentioned how now all laws and regulations are followed by showing the certificates, with pathos mentioning how this is helping the world and why they should join the cause, and logos develop a clear system for airlines that show their advantage carbon emissions per passenger kilometers. In conclusion, these campaigns are very effective since people want to contribute to make a change and do not know how. And by providing these 100% recycled or 0% polluting products, companies make people think that they are doing something good for the environment. This is bad since companies are lying, since they do not mention all the processes behind the creation of the products, and sometimes they only put a green stamp without saying the reason why it contributes to the environment. The changes that should be considered are those mentioned in the presentation that we had in class. These are related to what was mentioned before, that, that the companies must seek for a certification that the product creates a change. Also, add complete information about how the company has a plan to change what they pollute. The change that we as society have to make is to investigate more where these products come from and if they are actually green. Now the metacognition video. In this video, I am going to talk about first three things that I didn't know and that now I am aware. First of all, greenwashing. At first, I didn't know the what was greenwashing, and now I know how the companies treat the customers in order to have more profit. The second thing was how problems have a lot of consequences that are not directly related to the problem. This is because in the networking map, I found out how the floatings in France include different problems, not even related to floatings. And the third thing was everything related to fast fashion and how consumption is linear, how many things are wasted, like resources and even the final product, how companies can do a change to make it a circular system. This was, I saw it in that documentary. Now to things that I would like to find more about. First, the problematics and disasters all over the world. It is very interesting how in class we discuss the different problematics from each team. And the second thing is how we can help to make a change in the world. Because with this greenwashing and the we think that we are doing a change by buying these products, but actually no, because it's only false information. The last thing is one thing that I will change in my life due to this learning experience. And it is to investigate more about companies and how they produce their products. This related to the greenwashing. I am going to seek to look for more information about how products are made, and if I want to do a change by buying these products, I need to be sure that these products actually are 100% recycled or they do not pollute. I need to look for more information about these companies. Thank you so much for this